Hello there! On today's Sunday Stupid, Matt Powell says something stupid.
The flood sorted things based on their buoyancy.
Auditor Matt does his best Rambo impression.
Don't touch me.
And finally, Yellow Earth bullshitter thinks that stars are fish.
The stars are a red herring.
All that on today's Thriller Month episode of The Sunday Stupid. How do, dearest viewer, and welcome back to my little corner of the YouTubies. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, if you'll permit me, please do this. And please also like, share and comment as you see fit. Thank you so much. Now, last Thursday I was on a channel called STST, run by a good guy, an excellent guy, and I can't thank the guy enough for having me on his stream, and I had an absolute blast. It was amazing. What a great night. After this video, pop over to my community tab. The link for that video is there, and go and subscribe to him if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Now, back to the stupid and Matt Powell. He thinks the Grand Canyon proves that the Earth is only 6,000 years old. Yes, he keeps pumping out the stupidity more times than I pump out biscuits after a night on the curry and the beer. Now, Matt Powell, what have you got to say for yourself?
Hey guys, this is Matt Powell.
Hello, Matt, or should I say Professor Powell?
So the Grand Canyon is probably one of my favorite places to go to demonstrate that the flood of Noah is a fact.
It's fact, is it? Great. So you should have no problem whatsoever in providing some positive evidence, instead of saying everything else is rubbish, therefore flood. All right?
Because the Grand Canyon is where the geologic column is, and the geologic column is where evolution is based from.
Yes, 'tis true. You can see the geologic column in the Grand Canyon, but it stretches all the way up to Bryce Canyon National Park, which is in Utah. You can also see the geologic column in North Dakota.
So the name Grand Canyon literally means canyon that was caused by a flood.
No, it doesn't, you lying turd. Let's have a look, shall we? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Now, Professor Powell, please tell me, where in that definition does it say flood?
Now, if certain of these layers were exposed for millions of years, we would expect to find animal holes between the layers. I mean, if you have a layer forming and then it takes a long time for the next layer to form, you would expect to find animal holes between the layers of animals that lived during those supposed ages that burrowed down in those layers during those ages.
It ain't necessarily so, Professor Powell. Now, you're going to hate to admit this, but we have something in common. We are not geologists, but I've devised a little experiment for you in the shape of some plasticine. Now, get some plasticine about 1 inch thick and about 5 or 6 inches wide. Pop some holes in the top, and then pop some heavy objects on top of that plasticine to represent the geologic column. Because you claim that the Grand Canyon is made up of sedimentary rock, which is less hard than igneous or metamorphic rocks. So take those heavy objects off the plasticine and let's see if the holes are still there.
Now, to answer an objection that I've heard from Bill Nye, he stated that all of the clams were at the bottom layers, all the lizards were closer to the bottom, and all the mammals were closer to the top, and the birds were up at the top layers. So he says that you see how we evolved over time. But the truth is that that's simply how the flood sorted it. The flood sorted things based on their buoyancy.
Now, I'm going to explain why he's so mind-numbingly stupid in a few moments, but first, I'm going to let him dig his hole a little bit deeper.
And so, of course, the flood waters would put all the heavy stuff on the bottom, not so heavy stuff closer to the bottom, less heavy stuff closer to the top, and then birds at the top, of course, because they're the last ones to die.
So, buoyancy sorted everything out, did it? Let's have a look at the geologic column, shall we? Right, so the heavier life forms were at the bottom of the right, I've got a bit of a problem with like late Jurassic period here, because in the late Jurassic you had dinosaurs like Brachiosaurus, Giraffatitan and Camarasaurus. Are you seriously trying to tell me that those dinosaurs are lighter than a trilobite and should be found at the bottom, when in fact we don't find that at all? Professor Powell, you are stupid, and you've earned your right to be on the Sunday Stupid because of your stupidity. And if you keep pumping out the stupid, you will always be featured in the Sunday Stupid. Am I making myself clear?
Where are my kale chips?
Absolutely no idea. Now, can I get back to my video, please? We're going to leave Matt Powell there and his stupidity, and we're going to move on to another Matt and his stupidity. We are going to look at Matt, the frauditor and amateur wind-up merchant, and he is about to call some police officers some naughty, naughty names.
Right guys, Matt and Oscar checking in.
Checking into where exactly? Rampton?
And today we are in Lowestoft. Go and check out the police station up there. See if we can catch any marked cars coming and going, grab some photos and hopefully do a review of the spot.
In other words, you are hoping some police officers come out, challenge you on what you are doing, so you can educate them on the law.
So stay tuned, and by the way, if you want to see all the police stations that pass that aren't uploaded to YouTube, if you look up in Google reviews, so if you type in for instance Falmouth Police Station, look at the Google reviews, you'll see mine, and from there you'll be able to scroll through all my other reviews of all the other police stations. So stay tuned.
I can't stay tuned, unfortunately, because I'm having my nostrils plucked. You sound a bit out of breath there, Matt. Are you okay? And have you got a bloody muffler for that microphone, please? That wind noise is annoying.
Ultimately yard here, so it's going to be open to have a look round and that. Yes it is, cool.
Let's skip forward, shall we? Because that noise is really irritating me.
Hello, sir.
Aye, alright.
Would you mind just leaving the car park here? There's an operational police station saying vehicles are liable to come and go at high speed.
Right.
Alright, so if you can just leave the car park and stay outside the curtilage of the actual premises.
Perfectly reasonable request from a polite, kind of policeman.
Okay?
Outside the what?
Outside the curtilage of the premises, so in the public bit. Alright?
Tell you what, why don't you download some video editing software and edit out that wind noise? There's an idea.
Choose whether you want to go up the ramp or down the ramp. It's up to yourself.
Which way? What, you got two options?
Ooh, up or down, two options. There's no flies on you, Sherlock.
Well, the ramp goes up and the ramp goes down, so...
Whoa, no flies on the police officer either.
Sorry?
Move out the way.
Say please, where are your manners, you ignorant git?
Don't touch me.
I've been polite with you, haven't I?
This
So you
tool
don't-
hasn't. Get out of my way.
You don't need to be rude, you don't need to call him a tool.
Well, why is he stood in my way, blocking my way?
Down here. That's
Eh?
why. You shouldn't be down here.
You shouldn't be in my way.
But you shouldn't be there in the first place, should you, Mr. Right Said Fred Tribute Act?
You shouldn't be down here. That's simple as
I
that.
can be here if I want to.
You can't.
Yes, I can.
It's not public domain.
This bit is.
It's not open to the public. It's a sign at the top of the road.
From the top of the ramp to the bottom
And
of
bottom
the
of the
ramp,
ramp.
it's out of bounds.
Oh dear, I think Matt Pratt just got owned.
Right, move out the way then. You wanted me to leave and this numbnuts is blocking my way.
You could walk around him, you lazy little turd.
Don't stand in my way again.
What are we going to do?
Eh?
What do you do? I didn't think so.
Why, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Out you go, sir.
No gonads, Matt there, lost for words.
What are you going to do if I what stand here and take some pictures?
You can take pictures
Don't
from the
touch
top
me.
of the ramp. Okay, Alex, we've told
What's your
you
collar
there was a
number?
couple.
Larry Connolly.
Well read. So get
You're going to
yourself
be
in the
famous,
public eye.
Larry.
I'm already famous.
No, you're going to be famous for the famous dickhead of Lowestoft.
That the best you can do? Really? That the best you can do? Some childish insults? Grow up, Matt, and grow a pair.
Oh no, there's no public about, is there, so I can call you a dickhead?
You can call him a dickhead, but it makes you look exactly what you are, which is a childish, moronic dipshit.
Can't a dickhead? Don't stand on my shoes, dickhead.
But dickhead, he's not standing on your shoes, dickhead. And I'm sure, dickhead, if he was standing on your shoes, dickhead, you'd be straight round the front of that police station, dickhead, making a complaint, dickhead.
I'm filming it all. Are you recording?
Absolutely.
Why didn't you tell me? It's your policy to tell me. Why didn't you tell me?
Out you go.
Why didn't you tell me?
Mind yourself, you don't fall over.
Why didn't you tell me? It's your policy.
Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? More childish shittery.
Do you not know how to do your job?
Come to here.
I know where I can go. Do you not know how to do your job?
Okay, you can come as far as here.
Larry, do you not know how to do your
Down
job?
into the,
Why didn't you
go
tell
down
me it
into
was
the
on?
parking lot.
He does know how to do his job, or at least most of it, because he's just kicked off a weirdo trespasser.
How do I get a copy
We're
of
not
that?
going to leave.
How do I get a copy?
You can't.
Yes, I can. Freedom of information, none not.
Well, there you go. Do that then.
I'll put a request in and I'll get that.
Why would you want to? You've already recorded the entire interaction. Or have you?
So, no, don't tell me to go. I'm going to stand here. Or else what? I'm staying here. See you later, Larry. You're going to say hello to your family and friends on YouTube.
Oh, have you noticed how No Nad's Matt gets louder and cockier as the police officers are walking away?
What's your colour number, fella? What's your colour number? Oi, servant, what's your colour number? What's your colour number, servant? You're a public servant, what's your colour number? What's your colour number? Do you not know your policy either? Go on, do the walk of shame. Walk of shame. Guess what? You're dismissed. Dismissed. You're dismissed. You're dismissed. Go. Leave.
Now, Matt No Nads, if I may be sincere, just for a few moments, I do hope that you are not the victim of a serious crime, because the police, once they find out what you do on YouTube, are not going to bust a gonad or bust a boob to get to you to take your statement. Okie dokie. Anyway, let's move on from childish bullshitter Matt and on to a flat earth bullshitter, Mr. Level Earth bullshitter.
Check this out, Chang'e 5, China's so-called successful moon landing from last year. I've got two clips, one I've seen before, the other's totally new to me. Both, as you can imagine, are terrible and of course highlight this for the charade that it is.
Yes, I'm here, standing by, waiting, with you, to watch your two clips. One that you've seen before, and one that you haven't seen before. So, Flat Earth Observer, take it away.
First up, we got the Chang'e 5 separation, as the craft supposedly prepares itself to land on the moon. So let's have a look.
Okay, I am waiting with bated breath to listen to some of your personal incredulity and your opinions.
As you can imagine, there's a hell of a lot of CGI to wade through here to get to the actual bit of footage. I find this shot very telling, the control room. An image, some CGI animations, and lots of data, and not much else.
What else are you expecting to find? Are you expecting to find some aliens? Some milk chocolate hobnobs? Or Lord Lucan?
You would have thought in this day and age, to further advance things, and of course to make things easier, you'd have at least one camera constantly streaming 24/7.
Even if they had a camera right there streaming 24/7, you still wouldn't believe it, would you? They have got all the data that they need right there on the screens right in front of them. They will know instantly the moment that something goes wrong.
Of course, no, we get the usual tosh. No wonder they look so bored in the control room.
Wow. Flat Earth observers' powers of perception astound even me.
Let's get to the actual bit of footage provided, the separation here. Two things to pay particular attention to. One, the moon. Button moonish. Look at the edges of the moon. Look at the moon itself.
Yeah, I'm looking, and I've noticed something else, Mr. Flat Earth Observer. There's a camera.
And of course, two, the craft. Again, it's got a touch of the Blue Peter, blended with someone who's got a tinfoil fetish, who's just gone way overboard here.
So we just have your opinion and no evidence to back up your ludicrous claims.
Put the two together, and what do you get? An historical Chinese moon landing. So let's have a look.
Thank Christ for that. I was getting bored waiting.
Terrible footage.
Is that it? Terrible footage? Is that all you're going to say?
You've essentially got a Thunderbird style prop and a button moon style moon. Terrible, guys.
Ah, so just your opinion then. Okay, here's my opinion. You are a science-denying flat earther and bumptious moron.
If you want to get on in this space pantomime game, you really need to up your game. I mean, it's not easy. NASA are the main players and they're terrible. But this tosh, this is almost as bad as India's citations of so-called achievements in space. Ridiculous. Look at it. Is the moon even moving? We come back. Is the moon even moving?
Yes, it's moving. Very slightly, but it's moving.
I'm not so sure.
Don't try and contradict me, you flat earth observer.
Now, this is a month or so later, where the craft supposedly landed, took some samples, and now is returning back to the main orbiting spacecraft and is now looking to dock. This is the footage I haven't seen before, and this is old school Thunderbird at its best. So let's have a look.
But if you haven't seen it before, how do you know what it looks like? So, you're just going to give us your opinion again, aren't you?
Supposed to be docking, returning home with the dock, with the goods. I mean, look at the state of this. Look here.
Yeah, I'm looking. What am I supposed to be looking at?
Thunderbirds were better build quality and more convincing.
Yes, I was right, because I'm never wrong. You just posted your opinion.
Oh, and again?
Hang on. Why didn't you show the rest of that video? Allow me. Wow, amazing footage there.
Kidding me, right?
Bolton Wanderers 2, Stockport 2, half time.
Look at that. Let's pause it there and appreciate that. Wonderful bit of modelling. Again, you're free to believe this tosh if that tickles your fancy. But this is the only evidence that is cited now as reasons we live on a scientifically impossible ball.
No. There are many other pieces of evidence that you can gather for yourself to prove that we live on a globe. You claim it's scientifically impossible. You prove it with some science. So, you write your science paper on why the globe is scientifically impossible, get it peer reviewed, get it published. There's your challenge. Okie dokie. I think we should leave Flat Earth Observer and the other two morons to wallow in their own bullshit. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to join me on the next one this coming Wednesday, 8 PM for a Wacky Wednesday video. And I'll see you then.